So you want to learn how to turn your business around. Hi, I'm Felice, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm a Pinterest manager and a small business owner, and in this video today, I'm going to talk about how I turned my business around in just 4 weeks of the new year, and how I got to that, what tools I used, a 12-week year, and what led me to even want to start my business, and how I figured out what was not working to what is currently now working. And if you're struggling with your business, that's totally normal. It's very common, especially in the first year or first few years of your business. I struggled. I feel like I had a really great beginning and then a harder second half of the year. I just want to give you advice, show you what has helped me, and hopefully it'll help you as well. Before we start, please like the video, that helps me a lot, and comment if you have any questions. So first I'm going to give a brief background into my business and who am I. I'm Felice. I started Virtually Felice in 2023. It started off as a virtual assistant business, and I have been an executive assistant. I've done social media. I've done podcast management. There's just a lot of things I did in my career, in college and after college, that led me to think that I could be a virtual assistant, and I was just really sick of corporate. I was working in the tech space for a while, and I just kept getting either the company completely shut down or there were layoffs, and it just didn't feel like life was really that secure, especially since 2020. And I feel like there's conversations about that now. People are talking about there's not really a stable job anymore, especially in the 9-to-5, or it's just not as common as it used to be. And with people talking about a lot of layoffs that are happening in the past and that are currently happening and that are being planned to happen this year, which I think is terrible. I think it's really important to have a small business that will help you either make a few $100 or $1,000 a month, or eventually it could be your full-time job, whatever you want to do. And when I first started, I decided to start my small business in 2022 in December, and then I started officially in January. I posted on my social media, so I figured out my name. I registered in March, and I was like, I can totally do this. And when I was doing my business, I didn't really know what I was doing. As most people who start their business don't really know, you learn along the way. And I invested in a coach, and I think that was good at the time. But it started to go really well in the beginning, and then the second half of the year of 2023, it wasn't that great for me. I still had clients, and I invested in a coach one-on-one, and there were things that were looking great, but I just wasn't hitting the monetary goals that I wanted to hit. And I wasn't really happy in my business because there were times where it was months and there was no inquiries at all. And that's not a good sign. And I think there's also just personal stuff happening in my life at the time, so it was just really hard to juggle everything. I didn't save as much as I probably should have, and it was just not well prepared for me. So in December of 2023, I was like, what the hell am I doing? I kind of had a freak out in my business, and I just was not happy. Things were not going well. 2 of my clients who I really loved working with, unfortunately, that was gonna be our last month together, not because they didn't want to work with me, because they had their own challenges in their business and they just couldn't afford to hire someone for the new year. So I was really just looking around trying to figure out, what do I want to do in 2024? How do I make sure that I'm not in the same position again and I can just better take care of myself? How can I gain new inquiries when I wasn't hearing inquiries for months? And how can I just turn my business around? And I thought oh God, am I a failure? Is this really bad? I had all those thoughts. I had a breakdown, which I think looking back on it, I needed to have that breakdown because it definitely helped me do a complete 180 in my business. So I got to talk to one of my business friends, and she's more accomplished than me. She's been in the game for much longer, and I really look up to her. She's kind of like a mentor to me. If she's watching this video, hi. And she really just took me back to the basics. She was like, what do you like to do and what do you not like to do? And I basically just wrote that down on in my Notion. Notion's my life. And I just wrote things I liked and what I didn't like. And I realized I didn't really want to be, at the time it was an OBM. I didn't really want to be an OBM anymore. I really liked Pinterest as a platform. I used it for my business last year. I use it now. And I was I really like this. I don't really want to do social media like the Instagram and TikTok, but I would love to do Pinterest management. And I was trying to figure out who was my niche, because last year, I really didn't do market research that well. I kept changing my niche, and I think that also hurt me because I didn't give myself time to actually understand the people who were my target audience. And so December, I was okay, I had a complete breakdown. I didn't really post on social media. I didn't really do much of my business because I was just trying to figure out what do I actually want to do. And I realized what I want to do. I realized it was Pinterest management and eventually blogging management. And I still had my CRMs like Dubsado, and I added HoneyBook as a service because I do like doing that. And I was like, this is better for me because then I can market people's businesses on Pinterest. And then when they're getting all these inquiries, they need a CRM like HoneyBook or Dubsado to build out to give their clients a really great client experience. So they worked really well together. And I felt like at the time when I was talking about CRMs, people weren't really connecting with it online, and people were like, oh, I know I need a client experience. Oh, I know why this is important, but they weren't really like, oh, I need this now. So I feel like the Pinterest was the first thing that will draw people in, and then they're like, oh, wow, now that I have Pinterest marketing and it's going really well and I'm getting new inquiries, I really need to step up my back end and my systems. After that, I decided to do market research and find a new target audience. My new target audience was wedding photographers and website designers, and I had 4 discovery calls in like 2 weeks. I was super busy. Once I figured out what I wanted to do, I was like, I need to complete this as fast as possible because it was the holidays, the New Year's was coming up, and I know that I needed to like get in as much information and learn as much as quickly as possible. And so I had these phone calls. They went really, really well. I got to ask them a bunch of questions, get to really know them, get to know their goals, their struggles, what platforms were they using, what did they want the new year to look like, what did they want their life to be like in the future, and what wasn't working and why did they think it wasn't working. So it was really great to like ask them these questions, get to really know them. And I want to thank, like, I had a cousin who is in the wedding photography business who I work with, and she's really great because she helped me meet more wedding photographers faster than I would have. And so it's really great talking to them, really great talking to the people who are in the website design business, and I just felt like I got all this knowledge. And it was so great because when I was talking to these people, they knew of Pinterest but didn't really know how to utilize it or weren't really thinking about it yet but knew they wanted it. So it was like perfect customers or clients who I could work with in the future of 2024. And I just felt like I had a whole new like sigh of relief and just like a positive outlook on what my business is going to look like for the new year. And so I did all that, and then I also heard, and I made a video about this, I'll put it up there or in the description, about the 12-week year. It was going viral on TikTok. I listened to the audiobook on Spotify in 2 days, and I was like, I'm gonna create a template, I'm gonna get my life together, I'm gonna do all these great things. And it worked. I'm not done. I just finished the first 4 weeks of my 12-week year. And I'll have my free template down below in the description, completely free. But it worked. It helped me set these goals. I had goals for my new service, Pinterest management and blogging, to get 2 clients. I got 3 new clients in less than 4 weeks. And that's more clients than I've had in like, honestly, a few months, which is kind of sad. But then also, I got more inquiries in the first 2-3 weeks of January than I've had for 6 months, basically. And it was a sign that what I was doing was working, who I was talking to online was working, but also that this was the right path for me. And it's kind of crazy because it was crickets in my inbox for a really long time, and then it just kind of changed overnight a little bit. Obviously, it was hard work, and I did some courses, I did a lot of research, I went on YouTube, Google, looked at people's pages and just trying to do a lot of competitor analysis as well. And it was just crazy that these things were working. New York. 2 of the people I talked to on my market research call, I was able to convert them to actual clients. One person that I'm starting to work with now in February, they also want to hire me as a subcontractor for their agency, which is really exciting because then I can help them when they have clients in their agency. If they want Pinterest or blogging, I could be that person for them. So it's just kind of crazy how my business did a complete 180 in a month. And I just had goals on my 12-week year about posting consistently, posting 2 times a day on TikTok, posting on Instagram daily, engaging with my target audience constantly, and just like putting myself out there, getting these like 2 Pinterest clients that I already surpassed, posting blogs weekly, posting these YouTube videos weekly, and I've just been more consistent with like everything in my business. Has it been completely perfect? No, but I would say it's like a 90% change compared to last month at least, and then compared to last 6 months. So that's been honestly really helpful, and it's kind of just like, it feels really great. Like for me, it's I don't want to say scared because I'm not scared, but it's like when you've wanted something for so long and it's finally happening. And I feel like I'm in this transition phase where I know everything's actually going to work out and I know that I have to put in the work for it to come out. And it's just been really helpful and just exciting time in my life. So I just want you to know that if you are struggling in your business, go back to the basics. What do you like to do? What do you not like to do? What are you good at? Or what's something that you can learn to be good at? And once you figure that out, start talking to people, have coffee chats, have, they don't have to be discovery calls, but coffee chats just to like market research, ask your questions, get in front of your target audience and be like, what do you guys need? What platforms are you on? What are you looking for? How can the service that I want to offer help you and benefit you and transform your life, basically, or transform your business? And that's literally what I did, and it sounds so simple, and it is, but you have to be consistent, and that was the one thing that I struggled with a lot, is that I have to be consistent. I have to show up every day. There was probably like a day or two I did not show up. I also got sick twice in January, so that was not fun. I don't get sick often, but even though there were hurdles and things that happened in my life, I still was able to execute like 90% of the things I want to do in this month. And there's still things I want to do for the rest of my 12-week year in February and March. But it's just so exciting that like I actually got the clients I wanted to do with this new service I offered in January. So don't get discouraged if you're not where you are yet, or if you're having trouble a bit, but just know that you can just go back to the basics, figure out who your target audience is, figure out what you actually like to do and what you're good at, and then get to talking to them and engage with them daily. And this is the thing too, like I talked to my target audience in this market research, but they didn't hire me right away. Like it took a week or two for them to come back to me, but they're like, oh, send me your service guide, send me your prices. I would do that. And sometimes I'm a little like, oh, I would message them in 2 days, but I didn't do that. I gave them time for them to come back to me and say, hey, one person even said, thank you for your patience. I would love to start working with you, and we're working together. So it really can change all in like less than 30 days or even less time than that. But it also takes time to like figure out what is not working, like break that down. What is not working in your business? What are you not happy with? What can you change? And that will help you get to your goals a lot faster, I believe. Lastly, I just want to say that I also invested in a course that's helped me with like my Pinterest management and my blogging management and just understanding the platform a lot better. And I think it's really great to invest in courses. I'm going to say one thing about investing in general. I invested in 3 coaches last year, and I think they did a lot of great things for me, but I also don't think I needed maybe all 3 of them. But it was my first time in business. I really wanted to learn something. But I think if you're an investment coach, do your research, talk to the people who's worked with them, and get honesty, because sometimes it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And I learned that recently because I did an email blast where I talked about how I got these clients in a week and like got my dream clients. It's so exciting. And one of my old coaches reached out saying they're so happy for me. And I was so grateful for that. I really was. But they were like, oh, did my advice help you? And I was like, I didn't say this to them, but it wasn't them that helped me. Like the bare minimum that they said was just do market research. But I've gotten that from most coaches, from people I look online for. So it wasn't like her advice helped me. But I just think that if you're going to invest, and that's the thing, I'm not investing in any coaches in the first half this year because I think I've invested enough, and what I've learned I'm just going to implement, and what I don't know I'm going to find on my own. But if you want to invest in someone or a course or something, just do a lot of research before. Don't spend money you don't have. Do not go in debt for it. Not worth it. And just make sure that you're in the right place, because sometimes also, like if you have a coach, and this is not their fault, if you have a coach, maybe you're not ready to receive what they're giving to you. So it is a give and take. I don't blame any of my coaches. I am grateful for them, but I also don't think I needed them or I was with them at the right time. So just make sure you're aware of that, and you think of that too, because starting a business is not easy. Don't like what these TikTok people say, like, oh, it's going to be so easy. Maybe for some people, and like, good for you, like, congrats, but it's not easy, and it's worth it. It's completely worth it. But it takes time. It takes a lot of trial and error, and eventually you'll get your groove. Some people get it a lot faster than I did, and some people are even slower than me. You just have to figure out what rhythm works best for you and stay consistent, because a business is not just like a 9 to 5. It really is 24/7, especially in the beginning stages, to get to where you want to be. Once you hit that mark, once you're making whatever, it's 5-10 grand a month or even more, and you hit that monetary goals, you hit those client goals, you hit the work-life balance goals, because that's really what everyone wants. then you can decide to like take a step back and do what you want. But I think at the beginning, there's a lot of work going in it. Like, I feel like from December and January, those 2 months where I really tried to turn around my business, I've worked more and I've done so much more than I did in the whole last year. My phone died. But what I was saying is that I had more work, I had a higher work ethic, and even though I already had a high work ethic, but I just put in a lot more effort than I did in those past 2 months than I did in the whole year. And it really, I see the results already showing, and it's so exciting. So I just want to say that it is a lot of effort in the first few years, but eventually you'll get to those goals, and that's what everyone wants. And we all just want to make sure that we're actually like talking to the right target audience, know who our target audience is, know what we're talking about, and good at the service that we provide or the products that we provide. So that's it for this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. Let me know what you've learned from this. Let me know if you can relate. How was your business when you first started? Was it easy? Was it hard? Was it easy and then it got hard, or was it hard and then you eventually learned something? Please let me know in the comments below, and I would love to hear stories, and I hope that this helped. Again, I have a completely free 12-week year planner in my description below. Feel free to check that out if you want to. If you're looking for a Pinterest manager, I have spots open for March, and I hope you guys have a really great day. I really appreciate you watching this video, and I hope it's helped you just get some more inspiration for your own business. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you next week.